earlier when you're like, I have to take a sip of beer,
Mhm.
and I was too late because I didn't think of it fast enough. But I was gonna say shaken, not stirred. Uh, it wasn't gonna make any sense for beer, but I really wanted to say that, but I was too slow, and now I'm just thinking about it. So,
I'm recording.
all right, I'm recording too. Ba-da-da-na, da-na, dun dun dun, ba-na, 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 ba-na. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. I wonder if that'll get us copyright struck.
I don't think it was good enough. I don't think it was on key enough, you know?
Nice. Perfect. We should get away with that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this will be the 13th episode of Digital C Podcast. And if you couldn't tell, we just got done with 007 First Light by IO Interactive Studios. I forget if they go by studios or anyways. It's
Yeah.
IO. These guys had created many Hitman games in which I played one Xbox 360 demo of a long time ago. And first little taster from the studio from myself. What about you?
This is pretty much my first as well. I never really got into the Hitman series. A lot of people love it though. And I think that these were kind of the perfect developers to come up with a 007 style game. I just think that the 007 vibes suit the stealth assassin genre really well, even though I know 007 is not necessarily an assassin, but he does have a license to kill.
That's right. Sometimes you get that license.
That's right. That's right. I think that, well, okay, first of all, before we jump in, can I talk to you about something else really quick, completely unrelated?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just catapulted us
No,
right
it's
in there.
okay.
So if we need to
In the
if we
true
need to
Digital
situate
C
ourselves.
podcast, we have to infuriate people by titling our episode about like one game and then talking about a couple other games for about 30 or 40 minutes before we actually talk about the game we're here to talk about. Because you and I recorded just a week ago, which is pretty rare for us. Usually we're about a month between recordings. We actually probably don't have that much to talk about. But I do want to tell you, I started mixtape probably about an hour into it. And two things. Number one, I think we should have a short episode on it. Number two,
I'm down.
you've got to wait until I beat a game if we're going to record about it before you write Steam reviews, because I always see your Steam review and I know what you think about the game, and it's a spoiler for me.
Oh no. Okay.
Only if we're going to record about it, though. Obviously, if we're not going to record about it, it doesn't matter. But if we're planning on recording about a game, you gotta keep those Steam reviews hidden until we record.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. It's probably like as soon as you click on the game in your library, it probably shows like friend activity feed or something.
Yeah, and whenever you click on reviews for it, it always like pins your friends' reviews to the top,
Oh, yeah.
so I can always see it. So I got spoiled. I know how you feel about the game. I'm not going to spoil the listeners on it because I wouldn't do that to them. But it's a very interesting title, and I keep on getting reminded, and it's sad that I have to be reminded about it because I'm such a big Life is Strange fan. But Life is Strange Reunion is out, and like we could play it, so we probably should and record it. Even though I know we're both, if you listen to our double exposure episode, you probably know how we're going to feel about this game. But it's. I don't think this is a spoiler to say this because it's literally on the cover of the game. But this is the Max and Chloe reunion in their 30s. Like we gotta at least play it, right?
I know. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, please.
I've been kind of avoiding this game intentionally because I'm so scared or I'm predicting that I'm going to be let down and then that will be it. I don't know if you've heard, because there's so many flipping studios right now that are not doing well and that are potentially going to be cut or let go. But I heard that Dontnod has like $10 million left in the bank and they're going to run out of money by like November of this year.
Really?
So we might not.
Are they not owned by Square
Life
Enix
is
anymore?
Strange. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're owned by them or if Square has just had the like exclusive publishing rights.
Oh, okay.
For Dontnod this whole time. But no, you raise a good point, or a good question rather. I'm not sure. All I know is, like many other studios, they are not doing well. I hope they stick around. Oh, speaking of which, did you know that Quantic Dream is also not doing well, and they might not even finish that Star Wars game that they've been working on?
God damn it. Are you serious?
I know, because I guess they created this MOBA live service shooter game. Yes, Quantic Dream, the one that makes like playable movies as
Right.
video games,
Right.
created some sort of live service like shooter MOBA thing, and it flopped horribly, and they lost tons of money. And now I don't know if they're even gonna finish the Star Wars game, which sucks because if there was ever a chance for some like real mature storytelling, it would have been from Quantic Dream in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. And now, Quantic Dream did Detroit, right?
They did Detroit. They did Fahrenheit. What was that game called
Indigo
from a million
Prophecy.
years ago? Indigo Prophecy. Thank
But it
you.
was called Fahrenheit, I think, in the release or the European release, and it was called Indigo
Yeah,
Prophecy in American releases.
yeah. They did Heavy Rain. They
Yeah.
did. I feel like I'm missing another one of theirs, but they've done a bunch of
Oh,
games that I've really enjoyed.
didn't they do a game with Ellen Page, now Elliot
Oh,
Page?
yeah. It was called like Beyond Souls or something like that. I played like 4 hours of it and could not finish it because I thought it was so bad.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites by them is Detroit Become Human, which is a game I've been trying to get you to play for a while. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I still need to play that one, and I would imagine, based on what little I know of the game, 2026 is probably a pretty good time to play it with robots and AI and everything going on.
It definitely is, and they just have a way of telling a story that not very many developers have. And I think even Don't Nod and Deck Nine don't quite have it.
Totally agree.
So I'm really sad to hear that they are having trouble. A lot of other studios are having trouble right now too. We talked about this in the last episode, but I think today was the deadline to get a buyer for Ninja Theory, and I don't think they got one. I'm not going to Google it right now because we're not a news podcast, but I think that maybe Ninja Theory is going under and that new Senua game is not going to be made.
Yeah, that one and the State of Decay developers that were working on the third game in the I guess trilogy. I guess they're on the chopping block as well. I know those games were far from perfect, like both the first and the second, but I really did enjoy my time with them. They were a lot of fun. So knowing that the third might not see the light of day, it's kind of sad.
Yeah. And it's just, I know that you and I are both business owners, but obviously you and I just individually are in such different industries. And I couldn't imagine what it's like to be a video game developer and owning that business and trying to make it profitable. I truly do have empathy for the people making these decisions in some ways. I think that there's also a lot of predatory corporate bullshit that happens in a way that just in small businesses like yours and mine, it just doesn't happen because, you and I have the final say on things, and we can just decide to treat our employees fairly or,
Yeah.
plan accordingly when we need to. So I don't know. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's in many ways, I'm glad we're not part of the tech sector. The goalposts are always moving. Fads are coming and going very quickly. You could spend 5 to 7 years developing a product in which is all of a sudden not cool anymore because now there's some other thing. Like I can't imagine how difficult this would be. And then you get investors involved, and they're telling you how you have to develop your game and
Yeah.
ugh.
And they decide they need X
And
amount of profit and you're only making Y amount of profit.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you have to let go of half of your staff that you spent the last 3 or 4 years recruiting, and they're all really good people, and they would be amazing if they stuck around. But well, the game's about to release, so you got to start cutting people, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, anyways, should we talk about 007?
Let's talk about 007.
All right. Do you have a score?
You know what? I have an idea of a score. I haven't locked this in.
You have the concept of a plan?
Yes, I have. Exactly. I have a concept of a plan. What is Dutch's line from Red Dead Redemption 2?
I have a plan.
Yeah. Arthur, I got a plan. Nice. I think I'm shooting 2 for 2 between the 007 theme composition and my Dutch impression.
I'll tell you my score.
All right. Hit me.
I was thinking about giving 007 a 7 out of 10, just
You
to
you
be
still can.
just for the meme.
You still can.
I know, but I
There's
think it
nothing
deserves
stopping
more
you.
than that. I give 007 a 7.5 out of 10. And I think,
That's what you gave Pragmata a
yeah,
7.5.
yeah. And I think I put these games sort of in the same vein of how I felt about them. But I'm curious to hear your score. Do you have it locked in, or do you want me to ramble for a second?
Yeah, no, I've got it locked in.
All right, tell me.
I'm gonna give 007 First Light a 8.5.
Which is right in line. That's how we score games.
Yep.
1 point high for the most part.
Yep. I really wanted to give it a 9, just like I gave Pragmata, but this game needs ray tracing, and the ray tracing update doesn't come out until summer or something. So
Would
that's
you really think ray tracing would give you a 9?
I really think it would, because the whole time I played the game from start to finish, I'm like, this game isn't the most gorgeous game that I've ever seen, but it is clearly, as a PC snob, it really needs ray tracing. It's really missing something.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when the game came out, it was getting a bunch of hype on the internet, and I was watching people because there's a sect of PC gamers that are old school PC enthusiasts that fucking hate ray
Yep.
tracing, mostly because their hardware can't run it and it's not optimized well. Two things I totally understand, but also I think there's a little bit of, I want to say, hesitancy to embrace change.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that sometimes PC gamers can be a little bit old man yells at cloud. And I think that bashing against ray tracing is one of
Mhm.
those things, particularly because when it first came out, I remember
Yeah,
Adam and I
Control
bought
and Metro.
2080s for it, and it was completely not ready. 2080s and ray tracing, Metro, yeah, like Control was probably the best example of it because it had really good DLSS. But the cards, just if you wanted to run your game at 4K, 60 FPS with ray tracing on, the first card that could truly do that was like the 40 series. Even the 3080 Ti had
Mhm.
trouble with most games on 4K 60, and like let alone above 60. You're just not going to get it. And so I understand that frustration out of the PC enthusiast culture, but it's kind of like what we were talking about in our last episode about being mad at something that's clearly here to stay, like because it's the future, which in that case we were talking about AI. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm not pro AI. I'm really not. I just know that it's a reality that we're sitting in now, and we can yell about it, we can scream about it, but it's just here now. And ray tracing is kind of the same thing. Like and not only that, but it also is legitimately just the best way to light a game that we have right now, outside of maybe path tracing, which is just a iteration on the same thing. And I can't really remember where I was going with this rant, other than to say it was funny to watch people on the internet be like, "Oh, I'm really happy to see a game that's a AAA title without ray tracing." And then half the internet was like, "What the hell, no ray tracing?" And unfortunately, I did fall on the side of what the hell, no ray tracing, because we have really beefy PCs, and I want to
Yeah,
make
I
that
think
thing sweat a little bit, and it really
the
didn't
complaint that
for 007.
I genuinely don't understand the people who don't like ray tracing. If it's just a matter of change and a matter of evolution of video game graphics. The one thing that I will,
I mean, I hear people say that they think it looks better without it. They think that old school lighting looks better, which I just think is subjectively wrong.
yeah, I have a hard time buying into that. Now, what I will get on their side for or with is, I think there's a lot of games out there, modern games, that when you turn ray tracing off, the game just the lighting presentation, whatever the backup plan is, whatever plan B is for the lighting solution, isn't a good one. And I think 007 falls victim to this. I think the game,
But it wasn't plan B, it was plan A, right?
well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is I don't think there is a
Oh,
plan
okay,
B,
sorry.
right? Like, this game was meant to have ray tracing. I think they looked at the launch window and went, we're not going to delay this to get closer to GTA 6. Let's launch it without ray tracing, and it is what it is. Like, I think that's probably what happened. I think ideally they would have loved to
Mm.
release this game with ray tracing. And when it doesn't have it, you see the game kind of naked, right? The developers did not really intend this game to look its best without it. It's just, and I might get a lot of flack for that. It's not that this game does not look good. It looks, good for sure. But man, just the
Yeah.
whole time, like, especially when you're outdoors, you're like, oof, this is blown out lighting that really was seemingly designed for ray tracing, in my opinion. And there could be some strong arguments against me in ways that I'm not thinking of, but that's how I feel about this. It's just this game looks like it was supposed to have ray tracing, doesn't, and it looks worse because of it. Now that argument I can understand from the people who are yelling at clouds, because it's like, hey, as soon as I turn off ray tracing, the game doesn't look good or as good, and I can see that argument.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people say that it looks better without ray tracing. I think some people just don't like ray traced lighting. Those are the arguments that I just don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I'm surprised you would say ray tracing bring a game from an 8.5 to a 9. And I think that 9 is a little bit generous for this game.
I will say I'm biased. I'm biased in the sense that
yeah.
I've got nostalgia all over the place for 00 games, and I thought this was a really strong 007 game overall. I think
I did too.
After watching, God, I don't know how many movies there are. There's a lot of them. But at one point in time, I've probably watched almost every single 007 movie. So experiencing this, I was like, dang, like they definitely modernized it. And I'll touch on this later in ways that definitely makes it more progressive. And we're definitely in the modern Bond era, gone are the days of, 50s, 60s era Bond, which is fine and good.
And probably good,
if you watch some of those movies, you watch some of those movies now and you go, not not great. Not great, Bond. Not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely bias, and I would argue that certainly affects my score for sure.
Yeah. And we are in a little bit of a renaissance right now with movie video game adaptations, which is sort of a strange thing that's been happening lately, because usually you get video games turned into movies, but right now we're getting movies turned into video games. And typically when you see a video game get turned into a movie, you kind of roll your eyes and think this is just going to be a cash grab. It's not going to be done very well. Of course, there's exceptions. Between Indiana Jones and 007, we've gotten 2 extremely good iterations of what a game can be when you have developers behind the wheel that really respect the source material and are willing to stick to it while iterating on it. I think Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was overall a better example of that than 007 was, but I still really, really enjoyed 007. I think Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was probably the best. It was probably like the example of how you turn a movie franchise into a video game franchise. And I think 007 was right behind it.
Yeah, for me, they're neck and neck. I think they both. The only way this could have been better is if Troy Baker came in to like somehow perfectly mirror one of the old Bond actors' voices like perfectly. That was like the one notice, or the one thing where I'm like, yeah, it's I don't know, it's different though. Harrison Ford was always Indy, and there's many Bond actors, and it's not 1-to-1 there, but yeah.
Yeah, because the Bond actor is always changing, and I'm okay with that. And I'm happy to see, what's the actor's name who's Henry from Skalitz in Kingdom Come Deliverance?
Yeah, I
Do you know?
don't know his name, unfortunately.
I'm gonna look it up really quick because it needs to be said,
It does.
because he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Patrick Gibson. He's Irish. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, Patrick Gibson's performance in 007 First Light is like, you have to commend it. I didn't really, like, when I saw it, I was like, is that Henry fucking Skalitz? I think it's Henry fucking Skalitz. And then I told you, and you're like, what? It is?
Yeah.
And like, it's obvious because they use the same face, right? It's him as the actor and the mocap actor as well. So it's really fun because I've only played through about halfway through Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, and I haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't think you have either. So it's just, I know that Henry does a really good job in Kingdom Come Deliverance, though. I'm used to seeing him as like a blacksmith's son who's kind of insecure and like learning how to find himself, and seeing him be this like suave, sexy James Bond figure was just way more seamless than I thought it was going to be. And I think he kills it.
Yeah, he did super well.
And I love to see smaller actors sort of get better roles just by deserving it,
No, absolutely. And I think this isn't very nice of me, but I think with this being the kind of the origin story of 007 and him being young, right, younger 00 for his origin story, I think this is like a great way to kind of morph him, assuming that we get more games, into this like more suave, sophisticated, kind of sexy 007 Bond that we're used to. Um,
Yeah, I think he's going to get more gristled, and I think that as we see him go through his James Bond arc, he's going to have more fucked up things happen to him, even more so than what happened to him in the first game, and he's going to get more and more serious. And yeah, I think that's kind of what happened to Daniel Craig's Bond, although I don't know if I've seen all those movies.
yeah, Daniel Craig's. He was only in a few of them, right? Casino Royale and
I think he was in 3 altogether, but I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not a huge James Bond fan, I have to admit. So not that I don't like James Bond. It's not like something I've ever really gotten into.
mhm.
They've just kind of always been there in the background, and everybody knows the theme song, and everybody knows at least a movie, right?
Yeah. There was I can't remember the name of the game. I played it on GameCube back in the day. It was an early thousands game that I played in middle school, and it was really good. The multiplayer and like the split screen multiplayer against the bots and stuff was awesome. You even had that one bad guy's like top hat that you could take off and throw and like insta kill people. It was supposed to be like a really sharp hat that he would throw and he would like cut
Yeah.
off the heads of like stone statues. Anyways, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but yeah, there was a time where there's some pretty good 007 games and the movies were coming out constantly, and then it kind of dried up a little bit as people didn't want to watch a womanizer for 2 hours blowing stuff up.
Yeah. And it was making breaking like female actors uh careers too. Like if you were a Bond girl, that was a huge thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was a big deal.
Well, I have to admit, I have not taken any notes. I'm sorry.
No, it's
You're gonna have to lead us through this conversation.
okay. Perfect. I took a lot. No, I took a lot of notes, and I didn't mean that sarcastically.
You did or you didn't?
I'm sorry, I did not mean that to sound sarcastically. I'm
Okay,
actually
good.
I'm actually like, yeah, nice, right on. Only because I took some decent notes on this one. Again, I grew up with the Bond films. We only had like 30 channels growing up, and so one of the few times where it was really exciting to watch TV at our house was around Christmas time. And around Christmas time, they would show like all the Star Wars movies on loop, all the Harry Potter movies on loop, 007. I'm sure I'm not thinking of some other franchises that were just looping around the holiday time. And so I watched a lot of 007. But let's just start it off from the beginning. I know there's a lot of these. There's probably dozens of these throughout video games that we played over the years. But the club scene with the drum and bass at the beginning of this game is so
Yeah.
awesome and well done. And it was so cool to see how many individual people in the club were animated and had like these really kind of complex and full sequences that just felt really real. There's so many times where you go to these little club scenes and everyone's just on loop doing the same animation over and over again. There's an interesting conversations going on or anything like that. And this is kind of where you first dive in, and it sets up the gameplay loop that will start in this moment and then last for the rest of the game, which is enter a new scene, interact with people, kind of have like the more low-key spy moments and talk to people, and I don't know. It's like it's so well done, and it continues to be so well done throughout the game. I absolutely love this about 007 First Light. You get in there and you're like, you're poking around, you're talking to people. You've got these little side quests that you could go on. There's multiple branching paths. You can completely close yourself out of certain options just by simply playing the game. I really like this, and like this club scene, which is so well done, and whatever drum and bass track is playing the whole time, it was super good, and I was in it right from the start.
Yeah, that club scene pulled me into it too. I have a side note on that. I was right before I played this game, I watched an Annie Austin video, and I'm sure a lot of people know who Annie Austin is. If not, you should go check him out on YouTube. He's one of my favorite video game YouTubers right now. He had a video about what's the best nightclub in all of gaming, and it came out right before 007 First Light came out, and it was uh, in that short list of clubs that he explores to find out what the best nightclub in all of gaming is a Hitman game, and I think it came out on like Wii or something like that. It was an older Hitman game, but the nightclub is just absolutely sick and because it was limited by the hardware that it was on, it had to be very stylized
Mhm.
and like everything was 2D shadows kind of dancing, but they made it look more immersive than almost any other nightclub that he reviews in his entire video. I think he goes for I don't know, 6 to 10 nightclubs. And that came out right before this game came out. And then I played this game after watching that video like a couple weeks prior, and I'm like, oh man, the developers are at it again, making one of the best nightclubs ever in gaming. So it's something that they kind of specialize in, I think, uh,
I
and as they should, because it's all about making like Hitman is all about making crowds and allowing you to kill people within them
yeah,
secretly.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and other games that are based around the same premise, like Dishonored is a good example of games that do gatherings really well. Like in Dishonored 1, there's that whole masquerade. I mean, maybe spoiler a little bit, but there's in Dishonored 1, there's the whole masquerade you have to go
Mhm.
to. And that was a really, really well done scene. And it lends itself well to this kind of stealth assassin, be quiet, don't alert the guards, open world or open area, multi-path approach concept. And yeah, so again, I was pulled in really, really quickly on that club scene as well. You know what else I love? And shout out to my girl Luna. Lana Del Rey does the intro song for this game.
Yeah, I thought of her too when that played. I was like, oh man, Luna would love this.
Yeah, and I'm watching the intro right now actually because you and I usually put on the game in the background as we're talking about it,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's an awesome intro. It's just very James Bond.
Yeah,
It's very good.
yeah.
There's something about games and film as well, like just this medium that we love. I think right now what games are trying to tap into, and honestly, maybe what every form of entertainment that has to do with storytelling ever is tapping into is nostalgia. And I really think that it just always comes down to that. I felt it a lot when I played Wind Waker for the first time recently that I talked to you about in the last episode. Like I was feeling nostalgia for a time that I existed when this game was out, but I never played this game during that time.
Mhm.
And I never really got into Indiana Jones, but playing The Great Circle, it made me nostalgic for Indiana Jones. Just that John Williams score, it just made me feel something. It's just such an iconic part of our collective experience because it's such a big IP. And the same thing with 007 First Light when that intro is playing and Lana Del Rey is singing a song, and then it gives you the classic James Bond music as well, and like there's Moneypenny, and it just makes you nostalgic and it makes you feel good for being back in that universe in a way. I think that video games have a unique ability to make you feel immersed in a universe in the way no other medium does, and you and I've talked about that plenty before. And so it's so much fun to be, in a nightclub as James Bond walking through a crowd.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And piggybacking off of what you just said, I almost got nostalgic just for the time when you and I were in our early 20s. We'd be at these warehouse kind of rave party things, and there'd be a DJ playing, and it almost kind of took me back, outside of the nostalgia for the kind of fiction that we consume. This was like, oh man, like I remember when we used to be at these kind of settings and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
like dingy and dirty, and just somebody owns this warehouse, and some local talent comes in, and like that's the big thing for the weekend. And yeah, it felt very nostalgic in multiple ways.
Yeah, did.
But yeah, interesting that Annie Austin ended up picking a Hitman game. And I think you said IO, this is your first IO game as well, this 007 First Light game.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's apparently they've been doing it for a while, and we're late to the party. So yeah, that's awesome, and I had no idea. I've just been pretty used to mediocre club experiences in video games, I feel like, throughout the years. But yeah, it's interesting, and it totally makes sense that these guys are the ones that do it best. Just like you said, you need these big crowded environments so that you can do your little sneaky Bond stuff or your sneaky Hitman stuff.
Yeah, when you're not trying to craft an entire open world as well, like you can spend a lot more time on handcrafting those individual levels to be more seamless. Like Mass Effect is a good example, and Annie Austin goes through Mass Effect in his videos as well.
You
And
put that one.
they're
The shepherd
yeah, they're
dancing.
pretty.
No.
I can't remember. I think it was Omega that he used, which is a bit better than some of the nightclubs. Like in Mass Effect 1, there's I think 2 nightclubs, and they're both pretty poor showings. Now, even in 2000, whenever they came out, 2006. When they came out, they were still kind of
Oh,
mediocre,
the
but
Commander Shepard dance is it's something.
I don't even think he showed that. He was showing just like the NPCs dancing,
Okay.
and it's not any better.
Ooh, that Commander Shepard dance is, in a way, it's great because you're like, okay, well, what would and if a commander got to dance at a club, what would he dance like? And so in that way, I find it, I don't know, kind of fun, but yeah, oof.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you think Annie Austin would, if he could have released the video a week later or a month later, you think he would pick First Light?
100%. I think that would be the only option. I think that's the best nightclub that's ever been made in gaming. Although I think a really good argument could be made for the 2D stylized one that I was mentioning,
Mhm.
because there's just something about that realism. I mean, you should go watch the video and see for yourself, and not just you, but also anybody listening, because there is truly something that you can't quite capture photorealistically that you can stylistically
Yeah.
about a nightclub. It's a very hard thing to capture. And like the flashing lights and what it does to your brain almost makes things look like 2D in some ways, especially when you're talking about just large groups of crowds and stuff. But no, yeah, definitely. This is the best nightclub that's ever been put into a video game.
I can't wait for that RT update. The nightclub with the RT.
I wonder what the performance will be like.
Yeah. Butter for us, right? No.
Yeah. So was that your favorite level, or did you have a favorite level?
Ooh. There's so many good levels in this one. If I had to pick, uh, when you have the slow drive in the car and the fast drive out, and then I wrote as I wrote in my notes, amazing first act with slow drive in and fast drive out, ending with crazy plane tilt battle. I can't remember the plane part.
Oh, I can remember the plane part. Yeah, you're in the plane and you like hack the plane with your watch, and then you're trying to
Oh, yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
front of the
No, no,
plane, and you're
yep.
making it tip everywhere. And
No,
yeah,
it's
that was
coming.
really cool. That was very like James Bond style, Mission Impossible style. Very cool.
Yeah, that level's probably, I probably have to pick that one. There's so many fun levels in this game, but I have to choose that one. And the reason why is because you've got this like super, super slow drive in. Characters are talking. You're like, oh my gosh, this is such a slow drive in to the mansion where the Met Gala thing or whatever it is that you're attending is at. But it's all it all matches the story, right? You're dressed up as, whomever, you're entering this party that you shouldn't be at, and yada yada. You have a slow drive in, and then you finally figure out who's causing all the issues, and then the whole building gets leveled and explodes, and you're driving out of there fast, and then you've got that crazy plane sequence where you're fighting inside the plane and you're wiggling the plane back and forth. It's just to have all of the guys go flying all over the place so that you can get to the cockpit or whatever. I mean, it's that whole mission from start to finish is just so well done. It's got to be my favorite in the whole game.
That's like the crux of the game too, because main characters die, and you find out
Yeah,
a
Monroe.
lot about what's going on in the
Yeah,
story. Yeah,
Monroe dies, and it's right as you realize that Cressida, I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Cressida. Sorry. Yeah, her and Monroe kind of all of a sudden realize they have a thing, and then of course he dies right away, and it's sad, and
yeah,
you're like, dang, our homie Monroe was. And he starts out as your rival, and then you become friends, and him and her have a thing, and then of course he's gone off right out of the get go.
yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be my favorite. Did you have a favorite, or would you say that was your favorite as well?
As far as pure spectacle goes, that has to be my favorite. But I really like I like the tropical level
Tropical one's
where you're
amazing.
yeah, it's just really fun, and that was probably where I was the most curious and into the game. To not to say I wasn't into the game before that, but I was just fully locked in, fully immersed, fully committed to the story at that point, and I was just happy to be there in that setting. It was had a couple fun little missions to do as well. My least favorite was definitely the shanty town.
What, Lenny Kravitz? Lenny Kravitz didn't do it for you?
I don't know why that was just so boring for me, but it just was.
It's I'm glad they got it out of the way in the first half of the game, but not at the very beginning. I totally agree. It's the weakest section of the game. Lenny Kravitz as this fake out antagonist for the story who ends up like
Yeah.
completely and totally helping you out by the time you leave that area was so weird. And yeah, I really didn't like this. I'm sorry, Lenny. I like your music, but this conceptually this was cool, but in practice it was not.
Yeah, I mean, the level did serve story purposes in the sense that it made Greenway and James Bond a little bit, because before that they kind of fucking hated each
Mm-hmm.
other, or at least Greenway hated Bond. But I didn't enjoy the gameplay part of this section, so that was my least favorite.
Yeah, it was slow. It wasn't very fun. It just kind of felt like filler as far as the entire package went.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It felt like filler.
Yeah, like, oh well, what do we do before we get to more cool stuff? And that's what it was.
Yeah.
Probably should have started off with this, but I have a few things to say about the modernization of the 007 universe. And
Oh, here we
yeah,
go.
yeah, I've got it's I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
All
say
right.
it. No, actually,
Tell us.
there are some things that work very well as far as the modernization of 007 and being progressive and stuff. I think it was a very smart move to make Moneypenny not the hot secretary that just really has insane amounts of sexual innuendo dialogue with Bond every time he comes into the office. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much what she was in all of the old movies. It's just a woman sitting at a desk answering phones and like really wanting to bang Bond, but then they never really quite get to. And that's pretty much her character in the movies. And so I do think like these are one of the modernizations. And I talked about Bond being a womanizer, and it's pretty cringe going back and watching some of these older movies of how the dialogue works and how Bond interacts with the vast majority of the female characters throughout the movies. So I think Moneypenny being a smart, talented addition to MI6 is great. I think it's awesome. And I think they do have this very like low key kind of flirtiness about them that is not overdone, and it only happens a couple times, and I really did appreciate this. It was like you could tell that the writers were like, we want to recreate this for a modern audience but still kind of keep some of the bones intact. And I think they did a super good
Yeah.
job. And they didn't make it gross and weird and Bond grabbing ass and that sort of stuff like it used to be. So
No, and you legitimately get the feeling that Bond and Moneypenny are friends. They just happen to flirt a little bit as well.
mhm.
And I think, yeah, that's a very relatable kind of friendship for their situation in a professional, quote unquote, professional setting.
Yeah. So I did like that change. I'm sure there's some Bond purists that wish she was, had a push-up bra and was winking at Bond the whole time, but I did like this change. The
Yeah.
next thing that I wanted to touch on is Q Branch. Historically, Q Branch was just the one guy, Q, I think was his name, or I can't remember, but it was just like one dude who would walk Bond through the gadget room at the beginning of every movie. And that was pretty much it. Like there would be some people maybe in the background, some like lab coat wearing scientist looking people, but it was pretty much just this one guy. You're like, "Oh yeah, it's the gadget guy," right? At the beginning of every 007 movie
Yeah.
you go in there and he's showing off the gadgets and that's all well and cool, and you'll see those gadgets as the movie goes on. But this time around you kind of have this like group effort opposed to this kind of classic 1v1 boys club thing that was pretty typical for the movies. And there's tons of throwbacks in these areas with all the gadgets and stuff and the new tech for your missions and all of that. So I think it was a smart decision to be like, hey, all of this insane technology comes from a lot of people working really hard and not just like this one random old dude in like a white coat who like jokes with Bond and gives him a bunch of like sick gadgets and then the movie starts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely appreciated that change. The last thing that we have to talk about, and this is totally fine. I don't have a problem with this. There's only one thing that I wish they would have kept. They made M a woman. Now, I don't care at all that it's a gender change for this. The one thing that I wish they would have kept though is make her smoke. Give her the pipe in the military service, or maybe she did have military service and I missed it. But huge missed opportunity to not have her smoking like a chimney, because I think that would have been a great nod to the old M, who was the traditional pipe smoking, ex-military guy who Bond interacts with. So I know that smoking cigarettes is not cool anymore like it used to be, especially when some of these movies were coming out. But I do wish they would have kept that. Yeah, I think there's a missed opportunity there. Like just give her a cigarette or a pipe or something. So yeah, those were kind of all of my quick rapid fire thoughts on this kind of new vision for 007.
It would have been cool if they made the change but kept that last little tie-in. That would have been really nice. I also like that they give you a little fake out when Moneypenny is first leading you to M. At first, you go into the first office, and it's like an old white woman sitting behind a big
Mm-hmm.
desk, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, have a seat, M will be here," and it like fakes you out because you thought that was M
Yep.
for a
Yep.
second, but then it's like, "Oh yeah, no, M isn't this old white woman. That's actually her secretary. M is a young, hot woman of color." I thought it was just a bit on the nose. Like we get it. And if they would have, yeah, if they would have kept one tie, which would have been if M, I don't know the James Bond movies well enough to know that M was always smoking in all of them. But if M was always smoking in all of them, they probably should have kept that going. Even if they changed the character themselves, keep that little nod to who that character was in the originals.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a small thing, but I wish they would have kept it. I know right before this we were talking about gadgets and stuff. So to double back onto that, Omega as the watches. I mean, come on. And then it's the HUD. It's the HUD element for the player. Like as you play, like
Yeah,
your Omega watch is the heads up display. I thought that was so clever. That was really cool. I like that a lot.
I love it too. I love it too. And you know how much I mean, I'm not like a huge watch guy, but I do wear a watch every day. And it's a mechanical watch and I do know a lot of watch brands and I'm not like a yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a watch guy because the people go really off the deep end when it comes to getting into watches and I'm not there. I really stopped buying watches, but I do like watches and it's always fun to see different brands pop up and I like the heritage of them and to see Omega in a video game is always fun.
Yeah, you're not a. Is it the Urban Gentry? Is that the name of the?
Yeah, yeah, the urban gentry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You're
I'm not quite the urban gentry
yeah.
level.
You're not. Yeah, not quite. Not quite there.
And Ian Fleming, who is the original author of James Bond, was kind of famous for wearing his Rolex Explorer. One of my favorite Rolex watches that exists. In fact, probably the only Rolex that I would ever actually wear.
Hmm.
And the original James Bond wore a Rolex Submariner. That was his watch of choice. And then later, Omega, I think, bought the rights to one of the newer James Bond franchises or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea about the watch game of the movies except for of course the little laser feature that is very prominent throughout the movies.
Yeah.
And when he and when Q throws one of Bond's old Omega watches in the trash can like it's nothing, I like my heart skipped a beat. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
just trashing a perfectly good Omega watch. She's like, oh, that one's the old one. Like, got to give you the upgraded one. I was like,
Yeah. Give me the old
I
one.
know.
I didn't even look this up. I wonder if you can buy the Omega watch. Let me see if it's an actual model. I think it actually is.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the history of the watch brands are for the movies over the years because I have no idea. I mean, you said there's where it was Rolex in the movies and maybe Omega
Yeah,
later on.
Ian Fleming is a pretty diehard Rolex guy, I think, from my knowledge, and I think it's just Rolex and Omega, which are both, I believe, British watch brands.
So both of them are there, or
So new chronograph. It is so the 007 First Light Omega is for sale. You can buy it. It's $9,400, which, as far as I mean, that's MSRP, so you could probably get it for cheaper. But as far as like Omega diver, especially movie watches go, not that bad.
dang. Well, let me get my pre-order ready. Only 9,400.
I'm gonna go down a quick rabbit hole while we're talking about it. I want to see all the watches that have been in 007. Yep. Okay. So Sean Connery, Rolex Explorer. Of course, Ian Fleming with his or sorry, Rolex Submariner. Ian Fleming with his Explorer. And Ian Fleming wore Submariners as well. Ooh, there's a Breitling. Oh wow, there's a few of them. Oh, there's a Pulsar, which is like a early digital watch. There's a Seiko Quartz. Wow, there's all sorts of watches in here. I didn't know. I thought there was mostly. Yeah, there's some more Seikos.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Okay.
That's super cool. I just figured it was like the super gaudy like Lux brands that made
Yeah.
it.
No, me too. Yeah, Seiko Quartz, Casio World Timer, Tag Heuer, another Rolex, and then Omega starting in 95.
Wonder if Urban Gentry ever did like a 007 watch video.
Oh, I'm sure Urban Gentry loves James
Oh,
Bond,
okay.
so I'm sure he has many videos on the subject. Yeah, it looks like it's been Omega since 1995, which is crazy.
Okay, so
They
pretty
must have
recent.
some exclusive deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, those old vintage Rolexes look pretty cool. I'm glad to see. Yeah, honestly the watches go from like I don't know in the $50,000 range to the $20 range. So it's pretty cool to see that kind of diversity in the 007 lineup.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And if you want your own 007 First Light Omega, it could be yours for just under $10,000, or the price of less than 2 graphics cards. I wish I was joking. I'm not.
Yeah, we're cooked. Yeah, I saw the people were like, yeah, it's only going to get worse like through 2027 or 2028. I'm like, nice. This is fine.
I mean, I'm just glad that you convinced me to just absolutely ball out on the pretty much the best build we could possibly get when we did, because I think this build might have to sustain us for what, like 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. I out of morbid curiosity, I put a bunch of stuff in a Amazon shopping cart to do a mini ITX build with our old 3080 Ti Founders editions, and it was like
Yeah.
$4,000 for a backup like mini ITX build.
Oh my god, I'm not including graphics card.
Yeah, not including graphics card. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, ouchie. Now,
where's the bulk of that cost coming from? Is that RAM?
RAM is $500 for two 16 gig sticks for a total of 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Our M.2 Samsungs that are 2 terabyte, or at least I have one of those. Maybe you've got the 4 terabyte version. I forget. That's $500 right there. So just between the RAM and storage, you're looking at $1,000, let alone everything else.
I still have 2 sticks of DDR5 that I swapped out for my RGB build because I wanted a non-RGB build, which I currently have a non-RGB build. So I have 2 RGB sticks of DDR5 that I just have sitting. That's so funny. That was back when RAM was like, I don't know, $100 a stick or something like that.
Normal price. And, I was looking to build like a super cool mini ITX build, crazy like designer, like open air case thing that was gold trim and black case and water cooling loops and all sorts of stuff. I was just like throwing stuff in the cart to, they like, if I were to hypothetically build this, and it's more of like an art piece than anything. If I were to build this, how much would it be?
Yeah.
It was like $3,700. I'm like, nah.
So you could do it. You could build a functional mini ITX case for much more than that, or mini ITX build for much less than that. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, totally. But still, it's like this isn't. This would be for the artistic vision and something that's like really tiny. It would not be for like how much performance can we squeeze out of a gaming PC. So I was like, ooh,
yeah,
ouchie.
Did I send you that build of the guy who was trying to passively cool his PC?
I think I've seen this video in my feed come up where he doesn't use any sort of like proper cooler for his CPU or something like that.
No, he uses coolers, but he just doesn't use any fans. Like, so he wants to build an all passively cooled PC.
Or maybe that's what it was. Yeah,
and it's built out of like copper pipes and stuff.
Yeah, it's just a ton of pipe.
Yeah, you should watch that. It's one of the most insane builds I've ever seen in my life. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's like completely silent or something, or maybe it's.
Well, yeah, because the only thing that's
GPU,
running is the pump,
or the GPU fans maybe were making noise. Or...
No, he doesn't have a GPU fan. He doesn't have any fans.
That's crazy.
He water cools the entire thing on one custom built copper pipe loop that he just uses the radiators passively allowing heat to pull through to cool it. It's interesting. I won't spoil how the performance is, but you should go check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to take a peek on that one.
It's an interesting idea.
So yeah, if you're going to build a PC or if you're going to upgrade your PC, sounds like you should probably do it right this very second, even though things are outrageous because it's only going to get worse. Yay.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Also that people can sit at home on ChatGPT and do cartoon renditions of themselves. Yay, humanity.
Also, a bunch of studios can get shut down and people can get laid off just so that hardware can keep on going up because the AI needs it to develop more games to sell to people who don't have any hardware to play them on, anyways.
So that your property value can diminish because a data center got built next to you and now you have like 70 decibels outside of your window at all times.
Yeah, and no water.
Yeah, and no water.
Anyways, what else you got about James Bond?
I don't have a ton left in my notes. We can touch on the story. It's very by the book 007, which I like, but also it's by the book, so you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah.
You have the bad guy fake out with Lenny Kravitz, only to be replaced with the real bad guy, who's, of course, it's another story about AI and how it's out of control and how it needs to be regulated and how it needs human intervention. So all of those pretty obvious plot story talking points are good. I'm glad they're there. But overall, it's just kind of your classic. Oh shoot, there's only two of these crazy AI hive mind devices in the world, and one gets destroyed, and then there's only one left, and Bond falls for the attractive but bad girl who ends up double crossing him in the end. Like, we've seen this so many times in the Bond movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's good that it's there, especially for the first one, especially for the origin story. I don't think there's anything wrong going with the tried and true. But it does leave some things to be desired because you get towards the end of the game, and I'm just thinking of that biology scientist chick from the tropical resort, and I'm like, dang, where's she at, man? Like,
I know. I felt the same way. I was like, she was a more interesting character than this romance that we have, and it seems like she's going to be in the second game too. Maybe.
yeah, I'm not sure because typically with the Bond movies, at least, you're just kind of on to the next thing, and you never like really see that person again. But maybe
Yeah.
they will try and tie in characters more tightly, stray away from the loose structure of the 007 movie entries. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I want that tropical scientist lady back.
Yeah.
she was hot and cool.
Oh man. Yeah, they stayed tried and true there. That
Yeah, I
there's
know.
no changes made to the source material there.
I was waiting for it too. I was like, are we just gonna have Bond not hook up with anybody? And then he does. He ends up hooking up with a couple
Yeah,
people. That's good.
Moneypenny is like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Moneypenny.
What did you think about the overall gameplay? Did you have fun with it? Did you like it?
Yeah,
Did you like the combat?
yeah. I thought it was fantastic. I had so much fun with the combat. I thought it was such a great blend of not too fast, not too slow. And they do a really good job of dialing in. They're like, okay, I forget the two statuses. One is license to kill once you can pull out your gun and start actually, shooting people. And then the other one is, undercover sneak around Bond. So I thought there was like a lot. It was just like this very good yin and yang of the two gameplay styles that they allow you to play around with. The interactivity in the game world environment with all of your gadgets is so much fun, and it's so great. There's so many clever little fun ways to solve problems or get a certain NPC away from an area that you need to access. Again, there's just a lot of avenues that you can tackle this game, and I love that. It really becomes a playground despite the game's natural linear design.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, we got a shout out when you go back to have that crazy ass battle in the Q branch.
Oh my god, yeah. And being able to use all the Q gadgets to your advantage is so much fun. And it gives you that teaser of the car at the end.
Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah, you get in the car at the end, and that was so much fun. You're igniting jetpacks and making the dirt bike take off, and there's so many fun things to interact with. Like they let you interact with like almost everything that you can see to use as a way to distract or help do this area effect, explosion or whatever it is to take out enemies. That segment was very well done.
It really was. And it was such classic Oh, you gotta wait for the next game. Gotta wait for the next game when they let you get in the car, but you don't actually ever get to drive the car anywhere.
Yeah.
They just make you stuck in the. They keep you stuck in the garage with the guns and stuff like that. You're like, damn it! I wanted to like really get let loose with this thing,
Yeah.
but you never do.
Yeah. What's the movie? What's the 007 movie where he's got the car on the ice?
I don't
I
know.
can't. I'm so. I could see it. I could tell you the exact scene and everything that happens, but I can't. I couldn't tell you the movie. But yeah, it's like yeah, get this thing out on that sheet of ice and have all the crazy stuff happen. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
They have the classic tall albino bleach blonde hair sub bosses that the brothers, the
Yeah.
Russian or whoever it is, the Norwegian blonde haired brother guys that you have to take out throughout the story. I thought that was a great nod because I mean, it's very not even just 007 stuff. It's very typical for movies to be like, ah, yes, the very white, very blonde, kind of Nazi Germany looking guy who you
Yeah.
inherently have to hate because he's very, very white and very, very blonde. And you're like,
Yeah.
yep, that's the bad guy. Yeah. And so,
Yep. Evil.
yep, evil. So it was great to have that in there because, again, that is just by the book 007 stuff. The Greenway stuff towards the end, you could see coming from a mile away and was cheesy and dumb and fun. And that was great. So, Greenway dies, and of course he does. And
Yeah. It's hard for me to not picture him as Morgan from The Walking Dead, though.
oh, wait, is that the same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
Oh,
Plays Morgan in
I
The
was gonna
Walking
say he
Dead.
looks super familiar. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, which season is he in? Because I
Season 1, and then he comes back in the later seasons. He's the guy who goes crazy with the staff, and he's like, "I have to clear," and he tries to kill all of them. Tries to kill all the zombies and people too. And then, he's the guy who saves Rick in the first episode, I believe, and he has his son with
is
him.
it bad that I'm
And he,
mixing this up with The Last of Us?
no, I
Um,
mean they're very similar zombie universes, I guess.
yeah,
But
zombie universe, dad and son. I'm trying to remember this, and again too, because I tapped out of The Walking Dead at like season 5 or something. So, but if it's the first half of the show, for whatever reason, my brain can't remember.
yeah, he has a son, and he tries to kill his wife, but because his wife is oh, I'm not explaining this very well, but his wife is a zombie outside the door, and he tries to
Oh,
kill his
yes,
wife,
yes.
and
Okay,
then he can't do it.
it all came back to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's looking through the door peeper as a
Yep.
zombie. Yes,
Exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And they heal Rick, or they get Rick back to full health.
Yeah, and he's like I think he's you know what it is? Is he gets out of the hospital, he goes to his former home and realizes that they're not there, and I think that Morgan and his son are holed up in like his neighbor's house, and they see him like about to be overrun on the lawn, and Morgan and his son run out there and save him and then pull him in, and they kind of tell him what's going on, like, hey, zombie apocalypse is happening, and Rick's like, damn, Carl.
Damn, Carl.
Ugh.
So, yeah,
007.
yeah, 007. I don't have a whole lot else to say. 007, he breaks the rules. Headquarters and MI6 is always mad at him for not following direction. You got the Aryan bad white guys all over the place. You've got the gadgets, you've got the girls. Yeah, I mean, overall they really did a good job of a very nice faithful rendition of 007. I was super happy with this game.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed my time with it. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's just a game I don't have very strong opinions about, other than the fact that I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I played it, and it was just fun. Just fun. And when it comes to movies being made into games, like I said earlier, I think Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is the superior example for a couple reasons. But I'm just so glad that we're in this time where we're making really cool movie franchises into really fun games. I think that it's just a really good idea to do. I'm not really sure what other movie franchises out there would work well as a game. We've already got, I mean, I'm not sure if the Avatar game was any good. I heard it got pretty good reviews.
Yeah, Avatar, and it was made by the Far Cry team from Ubisoft, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong on
yeah. I
that.
heard it was pretty good. I heard it looked beautiful. I heard it played pretty well. I think Yeah, Indiana Jones, 007 First Light. I'm not sure. What's your prediction for the next movie turned video game?
Oh man, that hasn't already been done. I'm not sure. I mean, you've got like Harry Potter and Star Wars that have already been.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, yeah, and that was actually a pretty good game.
Yeah,
I was into it. Could have been better, but it was good.
yeah. Hogwarts. What was it? Legacy. Hogwarts.
Hogwarts
Yeah,
Legacy.
that was great. I had a super fun time with that one. A good Star Wars game is always great, of course. But yeah, what would you pick if you had to turn a movie and or TV show or franchise into a video game? What would it be?
This is the first thing that's coming to mind, but I think that Avatar: The Last Airbender would be a really good video game.
I'm sure they've made some crappy ones already, right?
Probably some crappy ones if I were to really look into it, but nothing worth note. Otherwise, we'd know about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime properties that could be very cool.
They're making Edge Runners into a game of some kind, right?
I know there's Edge Runner crossover into Cyberpunk 2077. Are they doing like an independent game just for Edge Runners? I saw season 2 comes out at the end
Maybe.
of this year, which I'm hyped for. Whew.
Yeah. Maybe that's just a crossover in Cyberpunk. I think that's what it is. Actually, you're right. But yeah. As far as this era that we're in, I'm really glad we're here, and I think the 007, great game, really fun.
Final thoughts on 007? Are we going to get a sequel to this game? And does IO get the reins again? I heard murmurs that Amazon had IO do a one and done, and then they're going to take over, which I think is a huge mistake if that's the case.
Yeah, if we do get a second game and IO's not behind it, I think the magic's gonna be lost.
Yeah, I think so too. But
Unfortunately, I think we're inevitably gonna get a third or a second game. We'll probably get a trilogy. Um, but yeah, I think that if Amazon takes over and IO's done, that's probably it.
yeah. Well, Amazon has done very poorly in the gaming industry, as we've seen.
Yeah,
Their lumber yard engine and their live service MMO games that haven't done a whole lot, and yeah, they kind of needed this win. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. Do you think Bethesda's gonna make another Indiana Jones game?
Yeah, well, yeah, machine games under the Bethesda umbrella. I don't know why not, especially because it's similar to this. It's their lane, right? They're so in their lane. The machine games in Indiana and IO and James Bond, like these are just IPs that are meant for these developers. I think it would be foolish not to give them at least one more stab. But
Yeah,
yeah, I certainly hope so, because the Wolfenstein games haven't exactly been blowing everybody out of the water prior to Indiana. So, and it's honestly same things with a few of the Hitman games as well. Like they don't necessarily sell gangbusters. So
yeah.
when earlier when you're like, I have to take a sip of beer, and
Hmm.
and I was too late because I didn't think of it fast enough, but I was gonna say shaken, not stirred. Uh, it wasn't gonna make any sense for beer, but I really wanted to say that, but I was too slow, and now I'm just thinking about it. So there's that.
Good one.
Yeah. Sorry. I know it works with beer great, that line. So
Yeah, that's. I do like my beer shaken.
yeah,
Well, Indiana Jones. Wait, nope. 007 First Light.
it felt like Indiana in a lot of ways as far as the feels.
It did. It did. Less John Williams, more Lana Del Rey.
Yep. More bikinis.
Respectfully. All right, we're back for a second. Ryan, we stopped recording. We basically kept talking like we were still on the podcast because that's just how we chat, anyways. So
That's
we
how
were
we
sitting
roll.
here kind of having a conversation after we recorded this last episode, and I forgot that I had a question I wanted to ask you, and we decided to pop back on air just because I want to kind of gauge your reaction on this. I meant to ask you this in the beginning of the episode, but what is your stance on Rockstar not releasing a physical copy of GTA 6? Now, before you say anything, I want to remind you that we attended PAX West 2025, and we had the privilege of attending a panel titled Preserving Physical Media, in which we learned a ton about the efforts that are being made about preserving physical media.
God damn it. I knew this was going to turn
And
into a troll somehow.
And how important that is. Oh, no, for people who are listening, we went to that panel because it sounded really interesting, and Ryan and myself are very interested in how we can preserve media that is being slowly lost to time, especially things like video games that are, digitally released and stuff like that. And it ended up being just a troll panel where this guy was just making jokes about, I don't know, they're like very obscure 6 levels of irony, I think you should leave style jokes, and Ryan was really frustrated for the whole time, and it was
I
pretty
was
funny.
fuming. Yeah, I was fuming. It was like probably the first time in my life where I felt old. Yeah, like old in the sense that I was just mad that everyone was being so childish. I was like, why isn't everybody being serious about this? This is a real problem.
I wish
Get off
you were
my
exaggerating, but that's actually
No,
what you were
100%.
like.
100%.
Everyone
That's
was
exactly
laughing
what I
and
was
just like kind of getting into the meme, and I was disappointed because I wanted it to be a serious panel too, because it's something I was interested in. But it was legitimately funny how unserious it was. It was funny how much he was just trolling people, and then you were like the exact person he was trying to troll. It was like, I think we watched
like 20 minutes of Click with Adam Sandler.
yeah, and The Life of Garp. It was so funny. Anyways, I actually do want to hear your opinion on that. I wasn't just trying to bring you back on air to troll you about that one time at PAX.
I thought for sure I was just getting trolled right now, and then we can stop recording and
No, it just reminded me of it because preserving physical media. And then in the same week, I believe, PlayStation announced that they were taking off like 500 titles of movies that you had purchased on your PlayStation account that you could watch on PlayStation. They just removed them from your account, and you can't play them anymore. You can't watch those movies anymore.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple games included in there too.
Yep. I guess there was a way to purchase movies and TV shows on PlayStation, and for whatever reason, they're now all gone. And like people are getting emails right now, like, "Hey, your entire catalog of digital content is just gone now because we say it is."
Yeah, which is obviously a huge problem. I mean, it's like somebody selling you a car and then you pay for it in full with cash, and then they just decide to steal it from you later because that's just the way capitalism works. I don't know. It's a strange concept we're living in, and I'm sure Sony lawyers are going to say somewhere you click the terms of agreement that says I agree you can revoke my rights to be watching this movie anytime, but that's bullshit, and everybody knows that's bullshit.
Yeah, digital consumer legislation needs to change so fucking bad, and I'm so tired of these old on oxygen about to die any second politicians who don't do anything about this because they don't care. It drives me nuts. It's absolutely insane. I think
it's a huge problem.
I think it's absolute bullshit that somehow video games is the only digital medium that can just be altered entirely and or disappear, and everyone's just like, yep, that's fine. Like, you would never go back in time and be like, I'm going to change the Beatles songs because the 15-year agreement's up. So like now they have to be altered, or now they're gone. Just because like it's so stupid. I think some of the best examples is music and games where they're like ticking time bombs.
Yes.
You have like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that has like some Michael Jackson, like Billie Jean song that's perfectly timed. And in fact, they create an entire gameplay segment around the song, and then the song gets removed, and then it's just like the whole moment doesn't even exist anymore. It's just weird. That should not be okay. Like I'm sorry. What what artistic expression or what other medium can you do this to? I mean, I know George Lucas went back and like modified the films and pissed everybody off, but at least that was his choice and his vision, even if everyone hated it.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what's happening actively now, and it pisses me the fuck off. I hate this so much. The code in the box. I pre-ordered the code in the box like so quickly, and then was like, "Oh wait, it's a code in the box," and just immediately canceled my pre-order
For
because I
Grand
was
Theft
like, "What?"
Auto?
Yeah, for Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah.
and they don't even have the old. Don't even get me started on the Ultimate Edition shit. Where, don't get me wrong, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is likely worth $100 for the single player experience. But the fact that they're paywalling and gatekeeping like massive single player portions of the game behind the Ultimate Edition is so scummy and
Yeah.
so lame. Like, just charge everybody $100 for the game.
Yeah.
It's
And you could even come out and say, listen, we're Rockstar. We put out only quality shit. As far as single player experiences go, we've basically never missed. We have X amount of people working on this game for X amount of years. We've got X amount of billions of dollars invested. I'm sorry. We got to sell it at $100 a pop. And I think Rockstar has enough goodwill in the community where people would be like, you know what? All right. You know what? Okay, Rockstar. And I think they're the only people that could really do that. Now, if Bethesda comes out and says, I'm sorry, we got to charge $100 for Elder Scrolls 6, everyone will be like, fuck you, Bethesda. I'm not buying it.
show me your new engine.
Exactly. But Rockstar is legitimately, like, I just don't think there's any denying that they're going to blow our minds. I don't see how they can miss. If I've ever had faith in any developer ever, it would be Rockstar. Now, I don't think it's going to be perfect, but I think that they're going to deliver us something that we've never ever seen before
Yep.
and probably won't see for another decade or maybe even more.
Yep.
So I would pay $100 for that. But yeah, you're right. The gatekeeping is so predatory and stupid.
So how do you feel about the argument, and I'm not sure if this is an argument coming directly from Rockstar or if it's just speculation amongst the community. They are saying, well, we can't do physical versions of the game because it will inevitably leak and we don't want leaks. What do you think about that argument?
I think that
Do you think
that is
that's just bullshit
just,
or what?
yeah, I think it's just absolute dog shit whataboutism, I guess, right? Like, what about leaks? Well, the leaks have always been a thing. They've
And
always been a thing.
the biggest leak to Rockstar as a company ever happened a couple years ago, where we saw like crazy alpha footage of the game, and it was just completely. It's a terrible sentence. It was completely incomplete. The footage that we saw
Yeah,
of the leaks from a couple years ago.
yeah, yeah. I think that that is a ridiculous excuse. And like, what about the tactile excitement you would get when you would open up the box and pull out the map that was printed high quality? And like I would always tape the map up in my room and like right next to where I'm playing, so I could look over and like reference it and like touch it and look at the what's the map guide or what's it called, the
Oh, the legend.
yeah, the map legend. Thank you. I'll be looking at the map legend and looking at all the symbols and trying to memorize areas and trying to see where I am in reference to. It's just I loved having those maps and like I've collected them over the years.
And they were in
Admittedly
every
less
Rockstar
so.
game.
Every Rockstar game and every Elder Scrolls game. And are we going to get a map in this case, or is it just going to be literally a plastic case with a code and then a QR code for some merch or something like that? I'm disappointed.
I think the thing that's super sad is that when 10 or 15 years or whatever go by, and there's only a digital version of this game that exists, and that digital version gets updated because Michael Jackson songs or whatever, The Weeknd or Lana Del Rey or whoever the hell is making music for this game has to get
Yeah.
edited out of the game. But before, it's like you always had that physical edition where, like, if you wanted the original experience, you could have it. It was just the digital version
Mhm.
that had to legally be updated. But now, like, unless somebody finds a way to dump the game and preserve it and then emulate it down the road, like, that's never going to be the case anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad.
And I guess you can argue, well, there's mods, but you shouldn't. Like, there's so many people who play on console. Like, you shouldn't have to own a PC and have the technical expertise of understanding how to mod games, because it's not rocket science, but it takes some know-how to
Yeah.
not break things. It shouldn't have to be that way. It's so obnoxious.
Do you think if Starlink didn't exist, Rockstar would have made this decision? Do you think that they would have lost out on all the people who live in rural communities who would have driven an hour into town to buy this and then drive an hour back to plug it into their PS5 or Xbox? Do you think that that's just not a high enough percentage of people that it would have made a difference for Rockstar?
I think not only uh, I don't know where I have no idea what that percentage looks like,
I don't either.
but
But you have to
here's
think
here's
globally. Like, there's got to be people in third world countries that have a console that they want to play this on that just don't have internet, right?
I mean, there are going to be people who are going to a coffee shop to get onto their Wi-Fi
Yeah.
to download this game so that they can go back and play the game.
Do you think that it needs to have an internet connection all the time?
Well, did you follow the Sony news recently, like in the last couple months?
I think I vaguely remember about them wanting always on, right?
It's not always on, but you have to connect to the internet to verify that it's a legit copy at least once, even for physical stuff now, I guess.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah, so it's not always on, like the horrors of the E3 for the Xbox One back in 2013, right? It's not that bad, but like we're
Mm-hmm.
getting there. Here's
Mm-hmm.
here's my quick take. I think that there's so much money to be made with shark cards or shark packs or whatever they're called for GTA, for the inevitable GTA 6 online, which has not been announced yet, and it's going to be single player only for who knows how long until they come out with GTA 6 online. I think that there's so much money to be made. Again, I think it's like 5 billion in sales for the game itself for GTA 5 and another 5
Mm-hmm.
billion for GTA Online. I think there's so much stinking money to be made, and that's going to be on the table for GTA Online, that like they don't even care about the people who don't have internet
Yeah.
or have slow internet connection or low download speeds or whatever. I genuinely think that's the case. I think there's just so much money to be made on GTA Online that they want 100% of the profits. They don't want. I mean, Sony and Xbox and Steam are still going to take whatever percentage that they take, but they're trying to min max this thing for sure, and they
Yeah.
definitely want the online users to be there, to be the whales and the cash cows to keep fueling this thing.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at.
And everyone else is just a rounding error that just doesn't compute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think you're right.
I've never seen, like, did you go through the list of all the stuff that's not in the base game?
No, I didn't. Will you tell me?
I can't remember it all off the top of my head. There's a car mod shop
Yeah,
that
an
is
entire
not
shop. I
an
did see
entire,
that.
like, I don't know if you can't customize your vehicles at all if you don't buy Ultimate Edition. I don't know that for sure. But if that's the case, that is insane. Just right then and there. Like, wait, so if I buy the base game, I can't paint my car blue, or I can't, give it NOS, or I can't do a fender aesthetic change because and like and there's all sorts of memes online right now, like you're playing as Jason or shoot, what's her name? It's Jason and
Bonnie.
I know it's Bonnie and Clyde. It starts with an L, like Lucia. I think it's Lucia.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong,
I
whatever.
think, yeah, doesn't matter.
But yeah, like, can you imagine playing as Jason or Lucia and you're just like running around the open world, like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is Grand Theft Auto 6, and you like try and walk into a storefront, and it's like for an extra $20, like pop up window, buy now the Ultimate Edition so that you can upgrade your car or get these clothes or get these tattoos.
Oh
It
my
is
god, yeah.
it is horse armor on steroids, like the most like fentanyl based microtransaction for a single player game that maybe we've ever seen. And I
Yeah.
hope I'm blowing this out of proportion, and I hope it's not that big of a deal by the time the game comes out in November. But man, this seems fucking lame. This seems so lame. Like, we're talking like almost like an expansion pack's worth of content that's being paywalled right out of the gate.
Yeah. So, first of all, you're right. This is just so fucking lame. And it's the last developer that we truly love and trust. who's just completely fucking us over here. But
You know it's not their choice though. You know it's 2K or take excuse me, is it Take Two?
Take Two, I think
Take
is
Two, I
what it
think. I think
is, right?
2K is the sports games.
Yeah, it's Take Two. So the question is though, is what are you gonna do? Are you gonna buy the Ultimate?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's
Like
the thing
you
is
don't
like
have a
I am
choice.
too. I am too, and we're all just gonna be fucked. Like we're all just gonna say, all right, I'll bend over and you can do whatever you want. Like this is just how the gaming industry is though. This is how most industries are. Is if
I
they
don't
have a product that they know people want and they're going to do whatever they want to do and we're just going to pay for it. It's just like the graphics cards, Ryan. Like we paid way too much for our graphics cards and we did it because we wanted it
oh,
and we had the money for it.
tell that to people now.
I know, but even us then paid
Oh,
too
I
much
know.
for our graphics cards. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason we needed to pay that for that product. Now, it's a premium and I get it and we went for a premium product, so I was willing to pay it and we paid it. But
It was about $500 over MSRP from the original launch point for the exact cards that we got. And now it's $6,300 for a 5090 on Amazon.
But you know the prices are like that not only because of corporate greed, but because people like you and like everybody else who's going to buy the Ultimate Edition of GTA 6 pay it. We will pay it, and they know it, and they do it because they know we will. So like, like it's kind of like being mad at AI. We can be mad at AI all we want to, but we're going to use ChatGPT, right? And we're going to buy the Ultimate Edition. So why? Maybe I'm being pessimistic here, and tell me why I am, because I want my mind to be changed right now. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel exhausted being mad because we're all just going to fucking do it anyways. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's. I would argue that it's this transcends. This isn't. I don't know if transcends is the right word. It's not just gaming. It's everything,
That's
right?
what I mean. Yeah.
Cost of living, rent, gas prices. Paying fucking $14 for a dozen organic free range eggs at the grocery store. Like I literally paid $14 for eggs when there was like some bird flu crisis or some bullshit that probably never even existed in the first place, and somebody just wanted more money for their egg farm or whatever. Like my knee jerk reaction is like, well, first it was Bitcoin that everyone was buying the graphics cards up, and that jacked up the price. And then after the Bitcoin craze kind of sort of subsided, then right after that was AI. So like now you've got these. You've taken a a PC enthusiast hobby and then transformed that into this weird, massive global tech butt chugging fucking monstrosity where everyone's chasing the dollar. Don't. Oh, and what about what was it? Blockchain. We all fucking forgot about blockchain. Everyone was buying graphics cards for that stupid shit, and that never worked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
But that's just one sector. And then at the end of the day, we all complain about it. I've seen so many YouTube videos come out, so many Reddit posts about Grand Theft Auto 6 Ultimate Edition. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. But at the end of the video, they say, but yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm like, well, just don't buy it. Like everybody, literally everybody, or at least even if 30% of us said, no, I'm not buying that, I bet they would see those numbers and be like, damn, I think we overstepped here, guys. Like we probably should have approached this differently. But we're not going to. We're going to reinforce their bullshit, and they're going to, you know what? They're going to get greedier next time. They're going to try to take one step farther next time, one step farther the time after that. And they can. We'll buy it. We'll just keep buying it. It's just I don't know really what I'm saying here other than just expressing frustration at the system that we're all kind of stuck in. And I know that this is ironic because earlier in the episode I talked about how you and I are both business owners, but this really does feel like just unchecked capitalism in a way that is unhealthy. Because I'm probably going to cut this part out of the episode, but I literally am a capitalist. I do think capitalism is the best answer to the solution of how do we make government, and it's the best one we've come up with so far, at least.
yeah,
But
I agree.
it needs to be checked. And right now we are running an unchecked capitalist experiment, and I think that eventually something's going to break.
I mean, when you replace everybody with AI, there's not going to be money to buy stuff like we've been using capitalism in the past, right? Like eventually there's going to be a point in time where like everyone's on food stamps and only like plumbers and electricians and whatever other random industry that's not directly affected by like crazy weird tech is just all fucked. Like it's
Yeah, I mean,
so wild.
it's got to be like it's got to be a tax every industry that's using AI heavily, and then create some sort of universal basic income off that
And then
tax. Like everybody
alongside
gets
that,
$800 a month or something like that.
yeah, alongside that, robots too. I mean, like I know we've all seen that video of like whatever that robot is, and it's at the conveyor belt like sorting packages and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that person's job's gone. Like, and it's only going to get worse, right? Like we've seen the Boston Dynamic videos of robots like dancing and doing backflips and doing like basic construction tasks.
yeah,
It's only a matter of time when things are proper pragmata style and like the robots are walking on the like electrically charged floors, working 24/7, mass producing shit that is a one-time payment for some mega corp that already has trillions of dollars worth of value,
yeah,
creating product for whoever the fuck is left that has any money to buy it. Like
yeah.
I've got this quote from Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and it goes, I think the entire government should be privatized. Chuck E. Cheese could run the parks. Everything operated by tokens. Drop in a token, go on the swing set. Drop in another token, take a walk. Drop in a token, look at a duck. And like, I know I'm supposed to be the optimistic one that's like talking you out of the pessimism right now, but it's like
Yeah, you're supposed to be.
I'm supposed to be, but like that's how I feel on the inside. I'm like
Yeah.
the like capitalism in the private sector is going so far to the point where like we're gonna be putting in a Chuck E. Cheese token to look at a goddamn duck.
And the great irony is that Grand Theft Auto has always been rooted in criticizing this greed and capitalism. The whole game is going to be a commentary on this, and they are the biggest participators in it. Now they're big enough to be one of the biggest participators. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 4. These were all commentaries on the direction that this country is headed. And here we are. It's just so full circle and self-aware, or what's the opposite of self-aware? Self-blind. You have got self-horse blinders on. I don't know. It's really funny. It's sad. It's maybe a little bit poetic.
Very poetic. And something that I've been seeing in the news, I haven't been following it very closely. I should probably be following it closer than I am. Is all of these Rockstar employees trying to unionize because they're all getting fired now that the game's almost done?
Yeah, yeah. Like, all right, thanks. See ya. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
like
then,
we're
like, they can just use AI to clean up the rest of the code or whatever. Vibe code the game.
vibe code. Just Claude it out.
Anyways, I just had to get your opinion on that because I meant to bring that up at the beginning of the episode, but I forgot to. And I wanted to record it. I'll throw this in as a little tidbit for anybody who's still listening.
Yeah, you very intelligently riled me up with the preserving games packs thing. Like you got my like blood boiling before we actually hopped into that.
I have legitimately not seen you so upset in public since, I don't know, we were drunk in a bar in our 20s and some guy mouthed off to you or something like that. You were so, me and Luna were trying to joke with you and you were like, no, you're not having it. Oh, it took you like 30 minutes to come back from that. That was so funny.
Dude, I don't know. It's expectations are the foundation to disappointment, and damn, did I not live by that motto. My expectations were so in a different place and I got so tricked and bummed by all of that.
Yeah. I've got some great videos of you sitting in that lecture hall listening to that guy troll you.
Like
so good.
Like the whole audience is just completely hypnotized by like a random 15-minute section of the movie click. And I'm just sitting there like, is there any way that I can leave or do anything else but this?
Oh, it is. If anybody hasn't been to PAX West or any kind of video game conference, PAX West specifically is about people hosting panels and usually giving really good talks. Pre-COVID, it was amazing. There'd be really big names. You'd be walking through the convention hall and you'd see Jeff Keighley and Greg Miller and Alana Pierce and the huge names in the industry just all over the place. And those people themselves would be hosting panels. I saw Greg Miller throw a White Claw across an auditorium and hit his friend in the face and make his head bleed
Yeah,
while they were playing a Mario Kart tournament or something like that.
Yeah, I got a picture with Jared Petty back when he was hanging out with the Kind of Funny guys. Like, we saw the writer of Rogue One, the British guy. I always forget his name. Can't remember. It doesn't matter.
British
He's
guy,
cool.
Rogue One writer. Yeah, like big names would come and they would host panels and give you like we saw the main guy from No Clip host a panel, just talk about how his process of making videos and what inspires him and what he's going to do next, what he has going on in the future, what his favorite videos were. Like you just see these people who you know and you care about and you want to hear them speak, and they'll talk intelligent. There'll be panels like the psychology of Dark Souls, where a college professor will get up there and talk about the psychological principles behind Dark Souls, right? There's these really fun panels. And we went to this one called Preserving Physical Media, and it was not what we expected, and Ryan was upset.
I'm upset again.
It was some guy in a ski mask playing clips of random movies from his childhood. And
there's no warning.
He was dressed in all camo.
There's no warning. There's no, in the detailed section of the PAX panel, there was no like.
Nope, didn't say this is a
there's no trigger warnings. There was no trigger warnings for me.
We just went in. Ryan had a big old smile on his face, and then slowly you saw what was about to unfold for the next 30 minutes.
I don't know. I was like peak emulation. I had like every emulator on my PC. I was like, yeah, Bloodborne emulated. Like it's the only version that we have that's not borked, and playing all of our Switch games on Yuzu, and here we are. Borked.
So, Ryan, you're buying the Ultimate Edition of Grand Theft Auto 6, and you're going to pre-order it? Are you going to get the physical, or are you just going to do the digital download?
Well, the quote-unquote physical version of Grand Theft Auto 6 does not come in the Ultimate Edition. You have to, so you have to buy an empty box with a code in it, which doesn't have a map, probably, and then go to whatever storefront you're on, PlayStation or Xbox, and then and then buy the upgrade to Ultimate for $20. So at that point, why? So I can have the box
or the map, maybe, if it comes with one.
If it even comes with one, but I would imagine that they would tell you if it did. Like I don't even think there's gonna be a map in this thing. I think it's gonna be a case with a code in it, and that's it. I don't see them putting even a map in.
That'll be crazy.
I canceled my physical pre-order because as soon as I pre-ordered it, like I pre-ordered it right at it was sometime after 9 p.m. West Coast time, which aligned with midnight East Coast. And there's nothing. I was like, oh, yeah, I got it. Nice. And then in parentheses, it's like, no disc, code only. All of your dreams are dead. And I was like, oh, cancel. The irony is, as a PC gamer, is that you don't get physical editions of anything. So, like, in a way, I feel like a hypocrite. But at the same time, like, I love physical media, especially in the last 5 years. Like, I buy all of my Switch games physical, every single one, because I want to be able to give that physical version of that game to somebody if they want to play it, and then they can just play it, and that's awesome.
Almost every Switch game that I've got, I've borrowed from you.
Right? Like, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I think I actually have like 12 of your games on my shelf right now.
And like Steam has family share that works for 90% of games, except for like stupid EA games and Ubisoft games that don't allow Steam share. Like that's great. PlayStation has a workaround for secondary and primary consoles for digital sharing. That's cool. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, the only way to preserve a digital game is to mod it now on PC, and that's stupid. And I hate that. It's so dumb.
That is stupid. Well, all right, confirmed, Rockstar.
So yeah, I'm buying the Ultimate Digital Edition, and what else do you do? Do you play the inferior version of the game for $20 less?
Of course not. Not after all this time. No.
13 years in between games, and you're gonna play the base lame version of the game or whatever for $20 less? Like, nah.
No, we bend over and we take it and we say thank you. And Rockstar, you better deserve one hell of a masterpiece in order for me to forgive you for this one. I don't know. Out of all the predatory bullshit things developers do, this isn't that bad. At least, I mean, what? How long has it been since Red Dead Redemption 2 came out?
Red Dead was 2018. That was 8 years ago.
But between Red Dead 2 and Grand Theft Auto 6, that's pretty good development time for such a big game, especially when you compare it to the time between Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls. Or sorry, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, whenever the fuck that comes out.
When did Starfield come out?
Well, you know what? Actually, now that I say that out loud, maybe Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 will be about 8 years.
And Starfield
But the difference
sucked.
is, that's what I was going to say, is the difference is
76 was not good either.
Exactly. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a fucking masterpiece, like literally one of the best games ever created. And
sold 85 million copies. It's like number 3 or number 4 in the all-time sellers list. It goes like Tetris, Grand Theft Auto 5, Tetris, Grand Theft Auto 5, Minecraft, and then like Red Dead Redemption 2 for the top selling games of all time.
Yeah. And then the Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, another masterpiece. Grand Theft Auto 4, another masterpiece.
I just finished playing Grand Theft Auto 4. It's
Did you?
so good. It's so good. One more game to go.
What's the quote in that game? War is just another place where the stupid die for the rich, or the young get tricked by the rich to die for the. There's a really great quote about war in that game.
Yeah, from Nico, because he's like an ex Russian soldier or something. He's got some cool quote. Nico Bellic war quote. War is when the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other. What a great line.
Yeah. Capitalism was where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into paying $20 extra for the Ultimate Edition. All right. I'm going to go to bed.
All right. Night.
Good night.